Friday noon. I was bundled in a blanket on the side couch, scrolling through cartoons when Lily Wan appeared. She was wearing a pristine white sundress, hair braided and draped over one shoulder, carrying a pastel pink bento box as she glided in. Seeing me, she deliberately paused, heaving a theatrical sigh, her voice coated in sweetness. "Oh, sis Lulu, Jing Shanapa has been so slammed with the new project lately. I heard he hasn't eaten anything since early morning. His stomach must be acting up again. I personally woke up at 5 a.m. to slow-cook pork rib soup and make sushi rolls to bring to his office. As his wife, don't you feel the tiniest bit ashamed, just lying there watching cartoons while your husband suffers?" With that, she swanned off with her bento box, her entire back radiating the energy of a devoted, virtuous woman on her way to save the world. I nibbled the last piece of potato chip and scratched my head. Ashamed? Sorry, that word is not in my vocabulary. Right at that moment, my phone rang. It was Grandpa Fu calling. The old man bellowed through the phone. "Lulu, I heard from the staff that Wanwan girl brought lunch to Jingshan's office. You're the official wife and you're letting her run wild like this. Get yourself to the office and visit your husband. Show those employees what kind of effort the real Mrs. Fu makes. If you don't go, I'm cutting your gaming allowance next month." I let out one long, exhausted sigh. Go to the office. Bad enough I'm dragged out the door, but now I have to cook too. Preparing a full meal takes 2 hours of standing over hot oil and fumes, plus 30 minutes of washing up, way too many calories. But when the primary sponsor issues an order, there's no ignoring it. My zero-effort brain immediately kicked into high gear. I pulled out the almighty black card and called the director of the 5-star restaurant Imperial Capital directly. "This is Mrs. Fu. I need a premium seafood buffet set. Wagyu beef, abalone sashimi, and British afternoon tea service for 20 people. Rush delivery straight up to the top floor of Fu Corporation. Charge the card." That evening, Fu Jingshan was returning from a business dinner, walking down the hallway when he spotted Auntie Wang packing up her things to leave. He glanced into the room. The stepmother had disappeared who knows when. All that remained was his contract wife, still curled up on the recliner, breathing steadily, the faintest smile lingering at the corner of her mouth. He stood leaning against the doorframe, taking in the absurd scene before him. In a household full of schemes and plots, her laziness had somehow become the most efficient weapon for clearing out the trash. No fighting, no pretending. Cold air drifted in from the window. Fu Jingshan took slow, deliberate strides forward. He loosened his tie, picked up the thin blanket that had slipped to the floor, and gently draped it over Shen Lu's slender shoulders. He leaned down, his low, husky voice barely a whisper carried on the breeze. "Sleep well, Mrs. Fu." A strange little seed began to take root in the heart of the cold-blooded crown prince. He suddenly felt that keeping this woman in the Fu household might just be the smartest decision he'd ever made in his life. Ever since the back-patting incident, which had thoroughly sent Diane Wen's soul departing from her body, the stepmother entered a state of complete psychological breakdown. She would take alternate routes the moment she spotted me, and she ordered every single servant. Absolutely no one was permitted to go upstairs and make noise or wake me up early. Life in the Fu household officially entered its golden era for me, sleeping in until 11 a.m., snacking until 3 p.m., occasionally swiping the black card on stress relief gadgets. But high society never runs out of people with a death wish who love to find their own demise. The stepmother had temporarily retreated, so the pick-me girl immediately stepped up to the stage. Diane Wen stared, mouth dropping open to unleash a torrent of complaints, but Auntie Wang had already taken her powerful strides toward the bed. "Mrs. Fu, time for your medicine." Auntie Wang's voice boomed out like a bronze bell, crashing directly into Diane Wen's eardrums. Diane Wen flinched violently. I don't want to take it. It's bitter. Bitter medicine cures illness." Auntie Wang didn't give her a second option. One hand gripping Diane Wen's jaw, the other hand pouring the cup of intensely bitter medicine straight into her mouth. Diane Wen coughed and flailed like a fish on dry land, but she couldn't escape the iron grip of the Northeast caregiver. "Next up, stimulating circulation." Auntie Wang rolled up her sleeves. "The doctor says lying down too long causes blood clotting. We need to pat the back." Whack, whack, whack. The sound of vigorous back patting erupted through the room like firecrackers. Diane Wen was aching to the point of tears, screaming in agony. "Let go of me, I'm not sick anymore. Send this woman away." "Mrs. Fu, please don't talk nonsense." Auntie Wang kept her face stern and delivered 3 more pats. "The young mistress has already paid for a full 2-week package and specifically asked me to give my full dedication. I cannot compromise my professional ethics." Diane Wen wailed and cried for help. But in the corner of the room, I had already drifted off into a peaceful, undisturbed sleep courtesy of my premium noise-canceling earplugs. Every hour on the dot, Auntie Wang would drag the stepmother upright and force her to drink hot ginger water. Every 2 hours, she'd haul her out for a full-body manipulation session. Just 1.5 days later, the sickroom door burst open, and Diane Wen came sprinting out, hair wild, face haggard, running for her life like she was being chased by a demon, screaming, "I'm healed, fully recovered, please stop hitting me." She locked herself in another bedroom, double-bolted both locks, and swore on her life that she would never again dare to say Shen Lu's name. But Diane Wen wasn't going to give up that easily. Just 3 days after the kanji incident, she rolled out her second play, the sympathy card. That afternoon, Butler Chen came rushing to pound on my bedroom door. "Young mistress, the madam has suddenly come down with a terrible headache and dizziness. She can't get out of bed. The doctor says she needs family members to stay by her side around the clock, and the madam specifically asked for you to come tend to her day and night." I set down my half-eaten chips. Faking sick. Classic. She wanted to trap me in a dim, stuffy sick room and force me to stand there rubbing her feet and pouring water all day and night. If I ever tried to sneak off to sleep, she'd blast it across every high society circle that the Fu daughter-in-law was an unfilial, cold-hearted monster. "All right, Butler Chen, please let her know I'll fulfill my duties." I stretched and stood up. Massaging and tending burns weigh too many calories. I immediately swiped the black card and made a phone call. Half an hour later, I appeared at Diane Wen's bedroom door. Behind me, 2 bodyguards were huffing and puffing, hauling in an absolutely enormous ultra-plush recliner. And walking beside me was a woman in her 50s, built like a tank, forearms like a bodybuilder's, eyes sharp as a razor blade, Auntie Wang, the gold-tier caregiver from the Northeast, legendary throughout the capital for her iron discipline and terrifying physical strength. The sick room door opened. Diane Wen was lying in bed, moaning theatrically. When she saw me walk in, she wheezed weakly. "Shen Lu, my head hurts so much, come massage my feet for me." "Mother, please lie still and rest," I waved her off. "You're so seriously ill, my clumsy hands would never be able to give you proper care. So I've hired caregiver Wang, a level S recovery and rehabilitation specialist, the best in the entire capital. Starting now, she'll handle everything." With that, I dropped into the giant recliner that had been placed in the corner of the room. I slapped on a black sleep mask, shoved in my premium noise-canceling earplugs, and pulled my fluffy blanket up to my neck. "Mother, don't worry, I'm still here on duty 24/7. I'm going to rest first. Get well soon." 1 hour later, Floor 88 of Fu Corporation had the energy of a funeral. The 6-hour strategy meeting had just wrapped up. Fu Jingxian was rubbing his temples, 2 shirt buttons undone, his stomach cramping with hunger. Hawk Ding and the entire board of directors had all slumped face down on the conference table, barely clinging to life from starvation. Ding! The VIP elevator doors slid open. Instead of an assistant, a full team of chefs in pristine white uniforms wheeled in 4 gleaming stainless steel carts. The moment the lids came off, the scent of garlic butter lobster, sizzling wagyu, and fragrant tea hit the olfactory senses of every starving executive in the room like a punch to the face. I walked out in my oversized gray sweatsuit, hands shoved in my pockets, letting out a yawn. "Sis-in-law," Hawk Ding launched out of his chair like a spring, eyes bloodshot, making a beeline for the wagyu platter. He was literally crying while he chewed. "You are an absolute goddess in human form. From this day forward, Hawk Ding's life belongs to you." The board of directors also completely abandoned their dignity and descended on the food like a storm, mouths full of praise for how thoughtful and generous Mrs. Fu was. The entire room was moved. Mid the feast, the elevator on the other side pinged open. Lily Wan stepped out with her tiny bento box, face lit up with excitement, already opening her mouth to call out Jingxian Appa, but her smile immediately froze solid. She stared at the little box of cold sushi rolls in her hands, then at the lobsters, gold-dusted wagyu, and the row of pastries being demolished. The contrast was so devastating that she looked less like a devoted girlfriend and more like a maid who'd sneaked in with leftovers, completely invisible, not a single person glancing her way.